Welcome, Float Magic fans. We are excited to have on our podcast today some guests, some very special guests that Float Magic is integrating with, and that is Melissa Osen from A Chance for Change, and we are having Sonya Haines back with us from United Way. So we'd like to welcome them. We're talking about an initiative that we're rolling out together, something for our first responders, and that is our eWell Lifeline, or our Emotional Wellness Lifeline. And what we're offering is for those first responders who find themselves in crisis. Imagine the crisis is happening in our community every single day. There's one group of people who shows up every single time, and those are our first responders. And so they are getting a front line to everything that's happening throughout this community. And as a group, we wanted to reach out and protect our protectors. And so this initiative is divinely designed to help with that process. So
it's exciting. I mean, it's exciting that for our community partners to be able to have the ability with services and skills to be able to help in everything that's happening right now.
Yes.
Lock arms with them and be able to say, oh my gosh, we're here with these great opportunities to be able to plug in and decompress after your batteries are low.
Right, exactly. And finding that way to recharge. So what the eWell Lifeline is, and we'll go through the specifics of it. So Float Magic has a piece in it. A Chance of Change has a piece in it. And of course, United Way has a piece in it. It's a beautiful little collaboration between us. Melissa with A Chance for Change will be offering accelerated resolution therapy, or art therapy.
Yes.
And
it's not the art like you draw.
Right.
Because that's what I thought. I was like, oh, it's art therapy, so I'm going to be drawing, and it's not drawing.
Which is a great therapy too.
That is a great therapy. There really is art therapy.
There is.
So I wasn't totally off base.
Yes, right. So it's a relatively new type of therapy.
Yes.
And so we're going to let Melissa talk about that a little bit, and we'll go ahead and start with that.
Yeah. So accelerated resolution therapy, like Shani was saying, is an eye movement therapy that involves eye movements, and it has been extremely powerful. What we are seeing with the first responders and others that are experiencing accelerated resolution therapy is just amazing. They are able to come in and resolve maybe things that they've been working on for a long time within 1 to up to 5 sessions, but truly 1 or 2 sessions. We've just seen some really amazing transformations as we've started this process. So.
The reason why ART and Float, or our self-care services, work so beautifully together is because it's highly recommended after ART that an individual does some self-care.
Yeah.
Right?
It's been amazing. Yeah. The feedback has been just amazing.
Yeah.
Self-care wise, it's been typically after ART, we'll say, the brain will continue to process the images that they came up with. And we ask clients all the time to, take the next 6 hours and at least a minimum, right? And just be kind to themselves and do some self-care. And sometimes they're able to do that. And sometimes, they get in the car and they look at a phone, or they're driving, or something happens, or someone calls and some other things come up. And so they kind of get distracted. But the great opportunity that we have here is that they don't have to leave anywhere, right? They just go from one space to another, and it's just a complete day, truly, of nothing but self-care and focusing on themselves. It's just been amazing.
And what we've realized too is so we offer a massage chair. It's a 20-minute session, a 60-minute float, and then a 15-minute Novathor session with the eWell package. But we also leave it open that they can do whatever services they feel like doing that day, because we want them to feel they can stay here as long as they need to process what just happened in ART. And the majority of people have taken us up on that invitation, and they they do stay for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
So it's almost ideal for what is recommended for ART.
Absolutely.
And so the reason why those pathways can be really solidified in a float is, like I've talked on my other podcasts, being without any stimulation, where you have no light, no sound, no gravity, it's all body temperature. Your nervous system gets this break from outside stimulus, and it gets to concentrate on what's happening inside. And so because of that, there's it helps those neural pathways form, and it connects your mind back to your body.
Yep.
More specifically, your mind back to your breath and your heart.
Yes.
And so our very first responder that floated and did ART, then float.
Yep.
His claim was that he saw his image in HD.
Yeah. After floating, I checked in with him, and that's the first time anybody has ever said that to me. So it just really solidified that this is a great pairing and a great match for people. I checked in, and before we had left, he talked about his image replacement that he'd come up with. And when I checked in with him when he was done at Float Magic, he said it was amazing. My image is now in HD. It was just coming at him. So it I think proved what we were thinking was going to happen.
What we were hoping was going to be the outcome.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just been amazing.
And most of the first responders coming in, it's their first time doing any of our services, first time doing ART.
Yeah.
And so that process, we weren't sure how it would be received.
Yeah.
It's being received very, very well.
Yeah, it's just truly been amazing. And the great part about ART, specifically for first responders as well, is you come in and it's all voluntary image replacement. So the images that you're seeing or the sensations that you have that are causing the dysregulation, we walk through them, and it's also not narrative based. So I don't need to know what they're processing. They can do it completely, as we say, like double blind. So as they're going through, it's, they are coming up with their own image. They're processing what they need to process. I'm just guiding that process.
Mm-hmm.
And the best part is there's no homework. So once we're done, it's not like a traditional talk therapy where, we hand out homework and say, okay, now I want you to work on this, or this, or download this app, or bring
there's
this
a little
back
homework.
to me.
They need to take care of themselves for the next couple of hours.
That's here, right?
And
which we're finding with first responders can be a little bit of a,
yeah.
It needs to be this is some ownership you need to have in the process.
Yes. And this is a call to anybody out there. Don't wait till you're in crisis to start taking care of yourself. Emotional fitness is where it's at. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But for those that have found themselves in incident after incident after incident, then it's compounded.
Yeah.
This is making big strides in the way that they're dealing with their trauma. I was unaware of ART until Sonya introduced the two of us. And I also work with a group, Jackie Briggs, through Courageous Survival. And when I actually told her what we were doing, she cried.
Oh my gosh.
She cried over the phone. She said, "This is my dream combination, is that ART and floating and self-care services would somehow be matched together somewhere." And here we are.
We're doing it.
Here we are. And we're one of the only ones in the country that I'm aware of. I posed a question on my Float Collective. Is anyone else doing ART in their center? They're like, what?
And that's really what I'd love to give a shout out to. So being able to create a space for a chance for change for Melissa and Zach to be able to work their magic inside of the facility, because as we talked through, you leave a counseling session or a therapy session and then life takes over.
Right.
It's hard for you to say, oh, I really do need to go to a wellness center and take care of myself for the next couple of hours. It's a very, very important component of this lifeline, is that you are here and you don't have to leave until you feel like you're ready.
Right.
And that's huge. I mean, kudos to both of you to make it work, because you're both out of your comfort zone. You've invited someone into your facility that is, a whole nother level of accountability. And then you've been able to say, you know what, we're doing this.
Well, and I do think too, the space that we have here kind of lends itself to a totally different feel than like going to a mental health professional. Now, you guys have beautiful offices. They're serene, they're relaxing, they're all that. But there's just this stigma that's tied to having your car parked, in a parking lot of a mental health facility. And for our first responders, for our law officers, there's a reporting component that can cause some issues in their mind, in their life that are legit. They don't want to be reported as having some label when what they are is just human.
Sure. Yeah.
Trying to deal with everything they're being handed.
Yeah. And that's the other thing with ART. It's not just there for trauma specifically, right? Or PTSD specifically. It is, we can work through performance anxiety, just performance of maybe a new position in your job, or family dynamics when you have a job that requires a lot of just emotional strength when you're going out and coming back, and just anxiety in general. It's several things. ART covers a wide variety of things that we can look at. So it's not just, I'm in crisis, or this very traumatic one-time thing happened, so now I'm going to go. So I think just the two spaces together is just it's a perfect blend. I can't ask for a better pairing, truly. And we've truly had amazing feedback so far. I'm really excited to see this grow and continue. So.
Yeah. We've been doing this process for about 3 weeks. Really started off, it was great. Went to Sonya and I said, okay, Sonya, we're ready to do this. Like, Float Magic is ready to help our first responders. And she said, Shawnee, I've got the perfect collaboration for you.
Yeah, and it kind of started where right now in our community, we have a crisis with teens and families. And we have been working with A Chance for Change and Float Magic for quite a while now, since the dead years, the COVID years. And so we really identified through that one day I got a call from Melissa and she said, Sonya, our first responders are really struggling. I mean, the things that they are witnessing and seeing and the trauma of our community right now is just not a good situation. And so it got me thinking, of course, I just, place it back there. Well, then Shawnee's been working on, Float Magic is working on this initiative for a while as well, as how can we help and where are some gap items. And I think that that's really what we've done, is tried to identify what areas have not been able to reach and help the first responders, and what could we do to partner and make it happen. So then that led to Shawnee saying, Sonya, I'm ready. I want to give back. And the generosity of Float Magic to our community is immense. You can't put a value on it, because ultimately it's one of those priceless things. You have like Salt Cave, $35, Nova Thor, $90. A float is $125. The outcome, priceless. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, the feedback we've been getting as well from the first responders that have been openly sharing, how this has been happening has just been so great.
Yeah. And so part of this initiative, absolutely, Sonya, is we want to keep it sustainable. Like right now, we're offering these services out of the goodness of our heart, and because we want to see them taken advantage of by people who need them. However, there is a sustainability piece, and that's where United Way steps in.
Yes.
And really is able to help us with that.
Yes. So United Way's initiative is health. Emotional fitness is a huge part of that health initiative, and behavioral health. And so we had already started last January giving away the vehicle for change. This was donated by Wolverton Homes. It's a 1965 Ford Mustang convertible.
Yes.
And it's vintage. It's amazing. It's on showcase at Middlecoff right now, Middlecoff Ford. And that all that money is going to go right back into our community and support this cause primarily, but it also does support the teen program that we have going and families. We also have a button, which is it's a button. It's a button. We have created a QR code, would be the right language, but that QR code will take you to a page where you can donate. And it's got different ways, like completely this program or this lifeline is $400
Yes.
is the overall cost. And that is literally like bare bones. It's a lot, but it's priceless again. So anyone that wants to donate could say, you know what? Let me scan that QR code. Let me go to the website, United Way SCID, look for the eWell Lifeline landing page and be able to make a donation because maybe they don't know what to do or they don't want a car. Who doesn't want a car? But maybe they don't, and so that's really where we're committed right now. We've already given some additional dollars to what we've already been able to raise. And that really, really helps us to get to that level that we want because the sustainability, as we all know, it's going to be immense. And the people that have come forward so far to get help are like so grateful.
They're so grateful.
Yeah.
That has been the takeaway message every single time is I get a gratitude text or I get walking out the door, thank you so much. I can't believe that these are accessible.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful part about this too, is the accessibility of it. So in the mental health sphere, when people are needing help for something, it can take them 3 to 6 months
Yeah.
to get in or longer to get into somebody. And we're able to turn around and help people
Within
days.
Yeah.
And it's and that's the beautiful part of this, because when you're in crisis, you can't like hold it off for 3. And when I'm talking crisis, I'm not. We have crisis centers and we have other outlet, and crisis lines for that. But like when you're in a situation where you're like, I need to deal with this,
And you come to that point where like, okay, yes, I'm going to take this next step. I'm going to pick up the phone. I'm going to make a phone call.
Yes.
You're right. And then it's like, okay, we'll put you on a waiting list, right? We'll call you sometime, maybe 3, maybe 6 months, or we can't even tell you when our next appointment is. It's really distressing. Like, okay, never mind.
Yeah. I guess I'm not.
Yeah. I just keep going. Right.
Yeah.
And specifically for this population, we need to, this is something we need to do for them. And so I think we've all just worked really hard in clearing our calendars, clearing our space, clearing our facility, and making sure we can be available to them.
Yeah.
So,
which is something, I'm super grateful for, because Melissa and her team and Zach are coming over here to Float Magic.
Yeah.
So that it can be something that people come to a one-stop space.
Yeah.
They don't have to disrupt the process and go from your office over to ours. And that has worked out beautifully. It's something that we've spoken with the leaders of this community, and they are very grateful that they have something to access immediately.
Yeah.
It has been a gap that hasn't been filled, and here we are able to fill it. We've seen over 20 people, which is about $8,000 in services that we've already provided to this population of people who absolutely deserve it.
Yes. And that's our biggest takeaway, right? Is that we're a community. And if our community leaders and first responders thinking about that, I want to leave everyone with a thought. You're search and rescue. What are we doing for search and rescue that volunteer all their time, their services, their equipment, everything
volunteers.
they can?
They're volunteers.
Do they have EAP they can tap into? Nope. Do most of them have full-time jobs? Yes. Can they miss work because of their burning and yearning to serve our community? No. We really ultimately need to take care of them. And where is our bridge? Our bridge is in the county. And so search and rescue is a huge piece of our community first responder team. And it's very imperative that as a community, we take care of them.
Yes.
And not to say that, we have firefighters. I feel like I always need to define it, because a lot of people don't think about first responders as being EMTs, nurses, emergency, workers. You've just got the ambulatory system has many, many workers that are all different.
Yes.
But it's literally any first responder that is dealing with someone in crisis, then they alone sometimes absorb all of that.
Yeah.
And then they have to go home and be like, okay, I'm fine. I am safe. I am loved. I'm free. But now I've just got this stuff that I need to process. And other thing that's been really great with this has been, and I think both of you have seen this, and I know I've heard it being spoken about, is the emotional fitness piece. There have been some of the first responders I've said, well, gosh, I'm really struggling in my marriage right now. Could I come talk to you? Or do you guys do couple therapy? The other weight on this is the families, right? And so it's been great to be able to offer that, hey, we're here for you as well, and the families in our community, and being able to say, guess what? You can come here on a day when nothing's really going on and you just need to relax and take some time to yourself to process your week ahead of you.
Or come with your significant other.
Come with your significant.
It's a beautiful time
or
to
your
come
teenager.
in. Yeah, or your teenagers. Come as a family in
We're
our
in a
salt cave
right now. It's super cool.
It's very cool.
We have had a lot of families come in and just spend time in our salt cave together.
Family meeting in the salt cave.
That's right. And so yes, I mean, we're an all age facility. There's things that every age can do here, and we have limitations on some of them, but absolutely, it is not just limited to the crisis situation like you're speaking to. Life happens, and there's things in life that always come up and get affected. And that's why we are here. That's why Float Magic started. And so it just brings me a lot of joy when back to that gratitude piece of people coming in and just having such a sense of thankfulness.
Yeah, I love that. That's perfect. And I think have talked about this before, and I talked about one of the first responders. I was talking with him, and they're trained in so many things, right? They're trained to how to protect us, or when they're working on the ambulance, they're trained in all the medicine piece of it, or
the protocols they're
trained in all of these things. But the piece that's missing is trained in like self-compassion for themselves and taking time to take care of themselves so that they can be present when they're out or present at home. So I think this is just I'm so grateful to both of you. This has just been the perfect pairing for everything. I think this is going to be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks, ladies, for coming on the podcast and helping me share this message and helping us get this initiative out into the community.
If you would like to participate and donate and be engaged in this program, www.unitedwayscid.org. We also have an email. It is, should I give out the eWell Lifeline at unitedwayscid.org.
Yes.
Perfect.
And it would be awesome to be able to hear from people, to know how we can all lock arms and really rally around our community leaders that are taking care of our, youth and families.
Yeah, absolutely. And so to reiterate what Sonya just stated, if you want to be a part of it and donate, United Way is the best way to access that. Also, look, there's a lot of fundraisers happening around town. I know that our individual units are talking about raising funds for this very thing, because it is coming back to serve them in a very big way.
And we have meetings coming up with...
We do.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
We're going to be coming your way, asking for help with this initiative. It's been amazing to be able to be a part of it.
And we'll have activities coming up in the future. Yes. We have a lot of big things that we're looking forward to educate the whole community and get our law enforcement and first responders involved. So lots of things to come.
Yes.
I have a feeling this won't be our last podcast together.
Yes. Thank you.
So, yes.
We're excited to share with everyone the outcome.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. So, well, fans, thank you for tuning in today. And I hope you always remember it's perfectly okay to stay salty. Sometimes that's what gets us through.
Yes. Salty human to mermaid.
That's right. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.